Can you believe it has been 3 months since Hurricane Maria slammed into Puerto Rico? And this week, we have been bringing you up close and personal stories about the recovery effort. Tonight, Lilia Luciano takes us to the town that suffered more death and destruction than any other place on the island.
¿Y el huracán?
San Felipe lo pasé, San Ciprián
San Ciprián también.
y San Nicolás.
At 98 years old, Felicita Concepcion still remembers Hurricane San Felipe in 1928 and San Ciprián in 1936. They stood out in history as the deadliest in Puerto Rico. Felicita says Maria was worse.
No me acuerdo.
¿Qué recuerda de esos huracanes?
Bueno, que el más fuerte que pasó ahora.
We're in El Ingenio. It's a neighborhood that's between Toa Alta and Toa Baja. This is the place where the most people died immediately during Maria.
The town of Toa Baja was caught between river flooding from the La Plata Dam and storm surge from the ocean up north. Within the first 2 days of the hurricane, the mayor reported 8 people had drowned. And according to Governor Pedro Rosselló, over 2,000 were rescued from their homes.
Porque subía el agua que ya no había remedio. Aquí todo se me dañó, el televisor y todo, porque subió mucho y yo vivo en lo bajito. Apareció Dani de milagro.
¿En bote?
Gracias a Dani estamos vivos.
Daniel Otero, better known as DOC, is a famous Puerto Rican rapper. He's lived his whole life in El Ingenio. When he realized the water continued to rise, he found a neighbor with a boat and rushed to rescue his great-grandmother.
Literalmente el kayak pasaba por encima de los cables de electricidad.
Estos cables.
Sí, no, justamente este poste ahí, por ahí fue que nosotros pasamos.
Wow. So he's saying that when he went out with some other neighbors to rescue his grandmother, the water was just over these electric cables that we're seeing here.
In the days that followed the hurricane, water remained stagnant, animal corpses were rotting, and people were hungry. And when the days and weeks passed with no sign of FEMA, he reached out to the only nonprofit he knew, even though Buena Vibra was a foundation for the arts.
And we saw all the people crying in the street. I was so impressed.
At 2.5 months, just as we got to El Ingenio, we saw FEMA contractors cleaning up debris and installing some blue tarps on houses that had lost their rooftops. But Emil and his colleague Celso explained that they had just recently started to come around.
You know, we've been here for almost 2 weeks cleaning this house and painting it and trying to get it back on its feet because it was all mud. She lost everything inside. And
Did FEMA or anybody come help her?
they came today.
Marta spent the hurricane in a shelter and returned 3 days later to find her home was completely flooded.
Allí me sentía bien y eso, pero cuando vine aquí, por poco me muero, porque el agua subió a 6 pies, arriba de mi casa. Eso fue todo pérdida total. Todo, estufa, nevera, lavadora, todo. Una persona, cuando está en su casa y le pasa eso, necesita ayuda.
Her house has holes where mice and rats can get in, leaks that could threaten the roof, and humidity that could accumulate hazardous mold. Buena Vibra will try to buy her kitchen appliances and patch up the roof while she waits to hear back from any federal aid. The blue roof doesn't seem like the most essential thing she needs, but her daughter was told that refusing it means refusing FEMA help altogether. I asked FEMA about this, and they said that's not the case.
How does somebody who lose their home or lose part of their home request help from FEMA?
Well, first of all, you got to register. And that is the important thing. We keep emphasizing the fact that people need to register to get into the system.
There are a series of options, including grants, public housing, rental assistance, and even relocation to the U.S. Diego Padilla Castro, whose home collapsed, was still waiting for the $500 advance FEMA gives many hurricane victims. 2 weeks ago, he was told that he has been approved to move into public housing, but he was still waiting for an address transfer on his official documents.
Va a empezar de nuevo, desde cero. ¿Cómo se siente sobre eso?
Esto triste como que una cosa que me pierde para adelante.
For some people who don't qualify for FEMA grants immediately, FEMA refers them to the U.S. Small Business Administration, where they can get special loans to rebuild their homes and businesses.
There's a lot of confusion right now because some of the people who were here within the first few days received some kind of funding, and then the ones who remain say, we don't know what the difference is.
We've been told that it just depends on the inspector. So it's been 2.5 months and they're still living in the shelter, patiently waiting to see what options they have. An agency spokesperson told me that SBA encourages people to apply for the loans because if they don't qualify, SBA would send them back to FEMA and then they might qualify for FEMA grants. Despite offering better conditions than a traditional loan, many people are afraid of borrowing, so they just don't apply. That's where many nonprofits and community organizing steps in.
Puerto Ricans are more aware about how the United States can help Puerto Rico and how they can help Puerto Rico. When we are on the street working with the people, we have been seeing a new way of Puerto Ricans. They're more willing to do it by themselves.
As we toured the island, we met many people who are not sitting idly waiting for the bureaucracy of the federal, state, or municipal institutions. They're instead lifting Puerto Rico with their bare hands and creating with that strength a new paradigm.
And keep in mind, Lilia's full 30-minute special, Puerto Rico Rises, airs January 1st on ABC 10. We'll also post more of her reports on abc10.com.